Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to MexPat Dating. Today, we're going to be breaking down Quetzal's code approach. He approached a couple of tens at the mall, and we're going to be breaking down the things he did really well and the things that he needs to improve on. By the end of this video, you should have some tips that you can implement into your own cold approach and some ideas that are going to improve your conversations with women, start to create that more masculine to feminine, man to woman vibe, and ultimately have a great conversation that'll lead to a date. So let's get right into it.
De acá, pero te asusté, lo siento.
Sí,
¿Pero tú hablas español?
sí,
Te ves un poquito como gringa. Tienes
no, cero, cero.
Te ves súper mexicana.
Okay, so first thing Quetzal did really well is he did the approach, right? These are two good-looking girls, and it's not easy for a lot of guys to do, especially a double set. What I would never do though is apologize. So he said, "I'm sorry for scaring you." We want to stay away from that energy because it kind of comes off a bit too nice, a little bit too friendly. And then the other thing, guys, is that you really want to be going and isolating the girl that you are actually wanting to approach. So he opened the one on the left, but then switched and went to the one on the right. So it can kind of come off potentially as a bait and switch. Like he used the girl on the left to open the girl on the right instead of just opening the girl on the right. So you could see the girl on the left was just kind of like a little confused because she thought he was talking to her, but in turn he wanted to talk to the other ones. So this goes for any double set guys. If you're doing, a couple friends, if you're doing mom daughter, or even groups too, you want to go immediately for the one you want. You don't want to be trying to flirt with everybody and get everyone to love you, right? You're really here to talk to the girl that you want to talk to. What you can do at some point is you can acknowledge the friend right after you've been talking for a little bit, but you don't want to be trying to communicate with both. It comes off just too friendly. It comes off like you don't really know what you want, or that you're trying to gain both of them unless you're really, really advanced. And you do want to date both of them and like have a threesome or something, then you really want to be focusing on the one that you really want.
Súper, 100%.
Ok, y además fitness.
Pues más lo intentamos.
Ok, vienen al gym entonces, tipo.
Sí, no, entrenamos. No aquí, pero
So something he did good here is he made an assumption about the gym, which is good. And I've talked a lot about on this channel. We want to be doing assumptions. It's going to really create a much stronger vibe. And then he went into a question, which is okay because you want to have the balance of questions and assumptions. If he was doing all questions, no bueno. But since he did do an assumption and then followed by a question, it's okay. And the assumption was good. It was about the gym. It was a flirty, kind of energy behind it.
Ah, mira. Pues a mí me gusta un poquito el working out. Me gusta más hacer deportes, pero a veces no.
Okay, so something Quetzal does quite a lot, and I think this is something he can really work on. I'm going to be talking to him, of course, one-on-one because we do work together. And I love that he has so much courage. He does do the same, though, when he gets a little nervous, he pauses. And he, as you can see right there,
Deportes, pero a veces no hay tiempo.
right, it was just like a 3, 4, 5 second pause. And you can tell the girls are just kind of like, yes. And so it can create an awkward energy. And we really want to be staying away from that, guys. So something that you guys can all work on, and as well for Quetzal, is to make sure you're speaking quickly. You're fast on your feet. You say something, you move on to the next thing, right? There's a good flow to the conversation. There's not these moments where they kind of question. They're like, something seems a little bit off here. So for Quetzal, he just needs to work on being quicker, not having those moments of pause, and he'll not get reactions like these two girls kind of just looking at him.
total,
¿No?
total, total.
Aunque siento que tú de deporte
And you can see the girl just, went back to her phone. She kind of started looking away. So it kind of broke the interest and maybe the chemistry that was starting to be built.
podría ser, no sé, como corredora. No,
No entreno, gym,
ok. Y si entrenaras, ¿te gusta más gym o deporte?
gym.
El gym.
Soy de gym, no soy de deporte.
Okay, so now Quetzal is kind of getting into interview mode, and this is kind of, guys, something we really want to stay away from. We want to be sticking to those assumptions and inferring things about her. One, because it's a bit more of a giving act, and then two, it says that you can read people, you understand social dynamics, you can pick things about her, so you're obviously observant, and that's really what we want to be giving off, not so much getting into interview mode, question answer, stuff like that. So what he could have said is like, I could tell you're definitely a gym girl, instead of, oh, do you like gym or do you like sports? Like, I don't know. Like, there's nothing really exciting about talking about sports, right? Especially to girls. I mean, if you did want to go that route, you could have said something like, let me guess, you used to play volleyball or something like that. Because obviously volleyball is like a kind of, feminine sport. Most girls look pretty good when they're playing volleyball. So the key to speaking and understanding women is to be speaking covertly, not overtly. So you want to be implying that she's attractive, but without saying it. Most guys will just, obviously come up and open her with, "Hey, I thought you were really pretty. I thought you're so beautiful. I wanted to talk to you," right? You're giving your cards away too quick, guys. You want to be subtle with it. You want to have her thinking like, this guy like me or not? Like he's kind of hinting at it, but I can't really tell, right? That's kind of that's the energy we want to be giving off. And so, what I think Quetzal should have done in this situation is focus more on typical things that are involved with a gym girl. I bet you do squats 5 times a week, never do arms, and then like squeeze her arm a little bit, like teasing her that she has weak arms, and as most girls do, but got good legs, right? And that's kind of why girls do squats 5 times a week. So it's not some erroneous assumption there, or like your style definitely tells me you just went to the gym, right? Something like that, where you're implying that she spends time at the gym instead of kind of getting into this question, answer, interview mode.
Ah, ok, lo tuyo es
100% gimnasio.
100% como músculo.
Sí, me encantan las cosas.
Ah, ok,
¿Tú
ya
eres
llevas
de acá?
rato. ¿De dónde parezco?
De acá, mexicano, pero...
Mexicano, puede ser. O si soy mexicano, aunque familia.
Okay, she caught me. I don't think I saw that. I'm pretty sure you saw me. Like she just stared at me, filming. So yeah. Oh well. But she didn't say anything. Anyway, but good. So good thing here is that she started asking him a question, which is good because she wanted to find out more about him. What I would have done for Quetzal is lean more into the gringo because she thought he was an American, which is he does get that a lot. Like he's either gringo or Italian because he has the long hair. He doesn't look super Mexican. He's a bit taller too. So I would have played around that with that a little bit more. Like, make up a story like, yeah, I'm super gringo actually. I'm here on a vacation. It doesn't have to be super fancy, but you want to just kind of play into that story. And then she's like, "Oh, really?" And then she can be like, and then he could have been like, "No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually Mexican." Like, surprise. But I do have a lot of gringo friends, right? Because you want to really give yourself the best chance to stand out. And I guess in Mexico, for example, a lot of being American is really high value because Mexico. A lot of Mexicans think America is like this American dream, which is funny because it's not, but in their eyes, it is. So really, like, start to know your market and start to know what would be something good to lean into that would allow them to perceive you as a higher value person, right? And kind of play into that. So he definitely could have played into the him being American, or he could have switched it and been like, "No, I'm actually Italian. You can tell by my hair," and then switched it to, "No, I'm just kidding, I'm Mexican," right? So kind of taking him on a little journey and played around with it. So had a little more fun because he went right into telling him nationality he is and what background he is. And the way he did it too was like, "My ancestry is Spanish." Like it's just a little too like formal, I would say.
Familia, ascendencia española.
Ah, ok.
Sí. Por ahí hay alguien en línea medio famoso del arte
Ah,
de mi familia, pero
There's that pause
sí.
again.
qué interesante. Y
Me
a mí,
veo
You can
más
see she's
artístico o
losing
más.
interest. Like she's like, "Oh, it's interesting," right? She's not like, "Wow, like that's so interesting." It isn't the most exciting conversation. Again, I think the main piece for Quetzal, and I'm going to say this again and again over this video, is really to get it more into a flirty vibe. Like, can you tell my uncle was Picasso? And then like he could like go like this, right? Because he has got the flowing hair. So really lean into that a little bit more.
¿Cuál me veo es como mi estilo? ¿Más arte o más?
la verdad, soy mala como analizando las personas.
Ok, ok, ok.
No soy tan buena.
Me gusta un poquito el arte
Ah, ok.
en pintura.
Okay, so now he's getting a little bit nervous and he's leaning into talking more about himself. And this is something that we as just humans do when we get nervous. It's easy to default to the thing we know best, which is us. So here would have been a great opportunity to do more assumptions and put it back on her. Again, leaning back towards those assumptions, guys. Those will be your absolute bread and butter when it comes to cold approach, and really make it so that you can have much better and stronger conversation.
¿Y a ti qué te gusta de esa parte? ¿O no te gusta?
El arte un poco.
So now again, he's going into questions instead of assumptions. And what he needs to be doing, again, guys, is doing assumptions, not questions. Yeah, I can tell. I mean, you have good color, but I can definitely tell you're more into sports, right? So you're assuming something about her, but you're also complimenting her that she has a good style and stuff like that, right? So it's learning how to read the woman and read her kind of archetype. And this takes practice, this takes time, but this will really help you and have you go a long way. Another thing, as you can see, is she's starting to adjust her headband, right? When a girl's into you, she'll start playing with her hair, but she start adjusting her headband. And actually, I'm not 100% sure if this is why she's doing it, but there's actually something about when we have our forehead exposed, we're more trusting to people. So because she might not be into Quetzal as much and not trusting him, she's trying to hide her forehead a little bit. And this is potentially, she might not even realize she's doing this, but this is a subconscious way of communicating that, hey, I don't trust you, so I don't want you to see my forehead, because the forehead is a vulnerable part, because you can see like a lot of expression is in the forehead in terms of like wrinkles, like, you know, how your face is contorting. So she might be trying to hide that from him.
No mucho. Y lo que te gusta es como
Again, a lot of
cuestión.
questions here.
Pues mira, llevamos ahorita un poco de prisa. Nos agarraste.
Bueno, te vi, me llamaste la atención.
Sí, pero
Otro día
¿tienes
platicamos.
Insta?
Sí, agrégame.
Okay, cool. So she actually offered to give him his number. And also, he did really good with this rejection, because she was kind of rejecting him and saying, like, hey, we got to go. Like, I'm not really into this conversation. But, you know, being polite about it, because he obviously was doing some things right to where at points she was interested. Good on him for kind of taking that rejection well and being like, hey, no worries. You caught my attention. Just wanted to say hi. And then because of that, because he went into a very non-needy frame, she's like, oh, hey, well, hey, let me grab your Instagram and we can chat sometime. Now, probably likely in this situation, because he did show me her Instagram. She has a big following. She probably was just like, hey, I'm gonna get a free follower out of this, right? So that's not what we want. Of course, we want her to be genuinely interested and want to, you know, connect again at some point. But because it wasn't terrible, girls will do this as like a nice way to kind of say, I'm not interested in you, right? Like, hey, I'm going to pass this Instagram along. He's not a bad guy, but there's no way I'm going to date him. But I don't want to outright reject him by saying, like, dude, I don't ever want to see you again. Like, no. So it's kind of that middle ground, right? Obviously, kind of what we've been talking about in this video. If Quetzal can really get his flirting down, he's going to get a lot more girls that are into him and not doing the, you know, Instagram to say goodbye kind of thing. Something big, guys, too, is we want to be the one ending the conversation. We don't want the girl to be the one to say, hey, you know, we're busy. We got to get out of here. That's their nice way of saying, I'm not into this conversation. I need to go.
A ver si quieres apuntar el mío.
A ver.
Ay, amigo, ¿cuál es mi Insta?
So the rest of the cold approach is just her giving him the number, you know, them saying goodbye and walking away. So kind of some big takeaways from this video. So good on Quetzal for doing the approach in the first place. Like, obviously she's very pretty and that can be hard to do. Great job as well. And when those were awkward moments arose, he didn't bail or he didn't try to like run away or leave. He stayed in the pocket. So really good on him for that. Also, in the beginning, it was pretty solid. Like, he did do an assumption followed by a question. And so the vibe was starting to pick up. But for Quetzal, the things he needs to work on, he got a little nervous. And so he did those awkward pauses. We want to stay away from those. We want to be quick on our feet. 2, he needs to approach the girl that actually he's into from the get-go instead of the bait and switch. 3, a lot more assumptions, guys. And again, it was because he was getting nervous and uncomfortable, but it's easy to default to questions when that happens. So we want to be sticking to assumptions as best we can. And the more assumptions, the better. Less talking about ourselves. And when you can start doing more assumptions and have her opening up, that's going to really start to bring the conversation to more life. And she's going to be like, oh, wow, he's actually interested in me, right? He's noticing things about me. At the same time, he's not kissing my ass, but he's being observant. And then in turn, she's going to be observant about you. And it's going to create that, you know, obviously that just chemistry and that connection that we're looking for. Right. There's that rule, like 70% of the time, she should be talking 30% of the time you. But when you really get in a good conversation with a girl that you have a connection with, you guys will just kind of be vibing. There won't be percentages that you'll be calculating in your head. You'll just be like, cool, like I said something and she said something and then she asked me something and I said something, and it'll just be banner, it'll just be flow. So that's something I think Quetzal can really work on, is getting in better flow in the conversation. And once he's able to do that a bit better, I think he's going to have a lot more dates that convert. He's going to have a lot more of these really attractive women that want to go out with him and potentially date him for a longer term. I know he's looking for a girlfriend himself. So a lot of good takeaways from here. Big shout out to Quetzal for letting us break down this approach. And if you guys want breakdowns just like this for your cold approach, where I go out with you personally and observe you and give you feedback on every single approach, or online where I'll have you record your approaches and then we break them down together, I invite you to fill out that application below to work with me one-on-one personally. I'm really going to help you dial in your cold approach so that you are able to have these great interactions where it's very man to woman, masculine, feminine. She's really into you. You guys are laughing, having a good time. It feels like, time doesn't exist. And then from there, she wants to see you again. She wants to go out with you and have a date with you, get to know you, because you gave her such a good experience in the cold approach, right? There's one thing to be able to go and do a lot of cold approaches, but there's another thing to actually be able to have them convert to dates. And that's what I really want to help you on. The whole step, will really help you overcome that approach anxiety. And a big part of overcoming approach anxiety and never having that come up again, besides like little amounts, but you'd never really listen to it anymore, is really being able to have these great conversations to where in your mind that, hey, I'm a little anxious. I don't really want to go do it, but I know this could lead to a fantastic conversation. Instead of where most guys do and get into is where they've done so many cold approaches and most of them have gone pretty bad, where they kind of like they believe that it's just not going to be a good experience for them. And then therefore they build more anxiety. So again, my goal here is to really help you have some amazing conversations, to get some amazing dates with your 9s, with your 10s. It starts with filling out that application below, and we will be in touch. So have a good one, guys. Talk to you in the next one. Peace.